sarai con me. Oh Italia, oh amore, e il sugore, si scatena ogni amore, oh prima di tutto sarai con me.
And welcome back, fellas and bellas all over the world, to another episode of the Napoli Rant. I am Raffs, joined by my co-host, the vicar of SOBS, Rafa Rispo.
What's up, Raf Bizzarro? That's a nice way to introduce us today, isn't it?
Yes, lovely time this Saturday at the event, at the watch party in Ribalta, New York City. We'll talk about that real soon. Hello to the live cats. Yeah, hi, live cats.
The live cats.
We're the live cats right now, but hello to the live chat as well as all the audio listeners. Let's get this rant on the road. But before we do, show your support by subscribing to our YouTube channel and be sure to give this episode a like. That's right. Help us out and watch us grow, man. Today we are going to review the match against Atalanta and Napoli in Bergamo. We will talk a little bit about Moret. Some people are mad at me about something I said. We'll get into that. We will talk about Napoli drawing Frankfurt for the round of 16 in Champions League, and then close the show with our main rant, Panchina Mia. Plus Beast of the Match. Don't forget.
Oh, don't forget Beast of the Match. That's
Can't
right.
forget that one. Can't
Weekly
forget that
staple
one.
of our show. Yeah, it's going to be a nice show today. Lots to chat about. But first, again, like you just mentioned, I just want to say thanks for everybody who came out to the club meet. Tri-State Napoli Club, Napoli Rant, Napoli Club New York City, Ribalta Serie A, Christine Cupo, CBS. I mean, it was just one of the best times and most successful events that we threw, and I'm glad to have been able to get the ball rolling for that. And everybody else that did their part, thank you so much. Everybody that came, thank you. Everybody I met, thank you very much. Please hit me a DM at Rafa Napoli 83 to let me know you met me, because right now my head is a fog. I can't remember a lot of them. So hit me up and let's chat. But what a game that was, Ralph, to be at, huh?
It was.
It had everything.
It had everything. It had everything because Napoli handled Atalanta 2-1 in Bergamo. First off, yeah, let me also get out. It was a fantastic meet, by the way, at Ribalta. A big shout out to everybody who showed up, everybody who tried to show up or couldn't show up. Everybody that came to the door might have been denied, guys. It was first come, first serve, and it got packed quick. Exceeded my expectations. But we had a great time with the Tri-State Napoli Club, New York City. Napoli Club New York City showed up. Big shout out to Rosario for basically letting us the venue and letting us go wild in there without any reservation, man. It was awesome. Shout out to
and
she sat on her table, real sweet.
Christina Cupo, that's right. Jenna Urgo, she was there. She's dope. She's so dope. Her and her uncle, and it was her dad and her uncle.
It was her dad and her uncle. I feel.
Her uncle, yeah.
We're Juventini, but we forgive you. We love
you. Well, they're Juventini. I'm not going to disclose Jenna's team. I think I remember her saying, "Please don't tell anybody who I support," because, but it's not Juve. Let's just put it that way.
Fair enough. Well, we love you.
But also shout out to Ludo, because Ludo showed up from IFTV, and that was awesome as well. Really cool to meet him, and hopefully we can collab one day. We exchanged info, so very, very cool. Very cool. This little show is really blossoming into something, isn't it, Ralph?
It really is, man, and I'm so happy for it, because this certainly is the people's show, and just to see everybody there, to meet some new faces, to put faces behind some of the names that come onto here was the best part. Peter Scala says Jenna is the best. We took a tour of the Serie A office. It was so cool. Big shout out to Jenna for fitting all those shirts in the frame. I know Rafa knows something about that, and she did all that work.
It's not easy.
Awesome. Go check out the Instagram, that Serie A. That's right. It is that THAT Serie A on Instagram. And you can see a bunch of things there, as well as our Instagram at Napoli Rant. And Pasquale Napoli down says, you guys sound hoarse. You shouting or something this weekend? Man, I'm still
Yeah.
recovering. 3 cups of tea with honey did nothing still, man.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend to recover from. I had the pleasure to hang out with my family that night. Saturday night, we went out in the town, my parents' hometown, and that was a lot of fun. So it was a late night, and then it was a trip back home in the morning early. Thank God for the hours change. We literally watched 1 o'clock turn back into 1 o'clock. After it got 2 o'clock turned back to 1 o'clock is what I meant. So we got a second 1 o'clock hour. That's when we decided to go home. And it turned out well because I got enough sleep. I drove back up that morning. I had a busy day at work. I had a busy day at work again today, and it's Ralph Pizarro. Full disclosure: 20 minutes before we're supposed to go on, I was snoring on the couch. Allie,
Yeah, you were.
Allie, wake up! You have your big show, and she made me a cup of coffee. Bella ragazza, I have. I'm telling you.
Ali, our honorary studio manager for the Raffs.
That's right.
Brand, by the way.
That's right.
Forza Paparisco as well, Antonio.
Oh yeah, Paparish. My dad was. I'll tell you, my dad. Listen, we got a lot of praise from CBS, from Serie A, from Ribalta, saying that they were impressed. But one thing I have to say is, my dad was thoroughly impressed. He couldn't believe that I was somewhat at the forefront of putting all this stuff together. He looks at me, he's like, "Holy shit, you really do something, huh?
Hey, you really
do something." Yeah. So that, I'll tell you what, I think all my life I seek validation from my dad because he brought me into this crazy ass Napoli world, and now nobody could take me out of it. So. Thank you, Dad. Appreciate it. And I know he's watching because he's been watching lately.
Yeah, he's tuning in. He's a big fan, Antonio Rispo.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. On to the game, guys. Napoli. In Bergamo, Rafa. Another tough game. We saw it was a super hostile crowd. We saw what happened when Elmas scored a couple of bottles on the field. Matteo Bonetti was commenting on the game, and he was mentioning that. But they do strike first. Rafa, I remember the reaction at Ribalta. We were a bit quiet, a bit stunned, but I don't think overall anybody was devastated or too worried.
No.
I mean, in the beginning, I was going around asking, what do you think of the score? 3-1, 2-1. Frank got it, by the way, 2-1. Frank got it all the way.
He did.
In Canada. So it seemed as if everybody expected a goal, but nobody expected Napoli to lose. Is that a fair assumption?
It's fair. It's fair to say that. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, especially with Kvaratskhelia. Let's talk about the lineup first, though, Ralph.
Please.
The whole time we're on our way. I can remember we're being on our way to Ribalta from the Serie A studio, which was dope. Again, but talking about how I'm hearing it's going to be Lozano on the left and Politano on the right, which is something that we have not seen a lot of in the time that Napoli has had Lozano and Politano. Something that my buddy Gil at the shop keeps calling for: put Lozano on the left and put Politano on the right. And I thought this could have been the opportunity to do it, but of course, Raspadori made the most sense, didn't he? Yet we get to the front of Ribalta, and as soon as we get there, the lineup hits, and we're standing outside, just kind of waiting for the doors to open and whatever. Now
pumped up, ready to go.
Pumped up and ready to go.
We're like, yeah, we're here.
There's a crowd of Napoli fans out there waiting. One of them being my buddy Sal, who comes to visit me at the shop every now and then because he has business up by me sometimes. So he showed up and made it there. Thank you, Sal, for that. I will get back to you too, Sal. Give me a few after the show. I'll get back to you, or tomorrow morning. But anyway, we get to the front and it just the lineups come out, and who was it that just said Elmas?
Chop got the notification first.
Chop got it. Yeah. Elmas. And I said, Elmas what? No. He goes, Elmas is starting on the left. I said, no. No way. Are you kidding me?
Rafa, the best part, I remember everybody.
You know what I said? I said, Minchia.
Yo, it's because it's Pasquale says it's because Biz lit a candle at the Macedonian church in his story on the way to Ribalta. So
He was
true,
like,
100%.
this is my son's chance
This is his
at
chance to
redemption.
prove himself. He's got to bring home the bacon. Yo, I remember everybody kind of near each other because we were like huddled close to the entrance. And as soon as Chop was like, Elmas, and then everybody scattered. Everybody,
Yeah, I think
what?
you were more towards you were kind of off to the side with Pete Scala talking,
Right.
and I was with
You were
was
kind
I
of middle,
talking to
like
Chop? I
you,
was
your
kind of
dad,
talking to
Chop.
Chop, my
Yeah.
dad. Yeah. And then he says it, and then it's like, what? And then I'll never forget my dad. The first thing he said after I was like, Almas unless he goes, you know, not for nothing, but Spalletti, he got some freaking balls, man. And I'm like, you know what? He really does, because that's crazy. But then, Ralph, it started to make a little sense. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's even though it's Atalanta, I get it. But it started to make sense. This guy has faith in the club, in the team, in the squad, in his Rosa. He has faith enough to put Elmas on the left there, and then if we need a spark off the bench, it's Raspadori.
Raspadori, right?
Instead of the other way around, instead of putting it Raspadori, maybe we don't get results. Maybe it doesn't work. Now we look to the bench for Elmas, who, in my opinion, is less explosive off the bench. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He's okay in his role on the bench, but I do believe that he's better as a starter in a starting role, getting himself integrated into the game, feeling the game.
Right.
And I am a little worried, and I know we talk about how he can cover the left every now and then, but I feel like he's more of a centralized player. And gosh, I mean, listen, it worked. It worked. He played 90 minutes.
Got the game-winning goal.
He didn't even need a sub. He didn't need to be subbed out. I'm not trying to say he had this magnificent, stupendous, amazing game, beast of the match worthy, but he got the freaking winning goal, man, and that's all that counts, really. That's all that matters. And that, and you know, I want to talk about Osimhen's goal too, but that touch that he did. First, I also want to talk about how Osimhen completely destroyed Demiral on that side. Unbelievable, right? Just like he did to Smalling. It's funny, Ralph, because as it was happening, I'm thinking he's going to Smalling this son of a bitch. And he did. He muscled right through him and got that ball to Elmas. And then Elmas, that quick, smart touch with his left to just kind of drift away from his defender and touch it home. Oh, man. What a goal. And someone in here said it. I had lost my voice by that time because I yelled about Osimhen's goal. That when I was doing the Decibel Bellini, I started like losing my voice.
By the second Elmas chant, I think you sounded like a dying seal. Like,
well, if you hear it, if you go back to here, go on our Twitter. But if you go back to our Instagram, right. If you go back to listen to it, right? I did the Osimhen chant like 5, 6, 7 times, and it was strong and it was loud. And by the time I was done, I was like no voice left. And then Elma scores like minutes later. Guys, mind you, this is all within minutes and minutes of each other. You know what I mean? And I lost it for Elmas. I wanted to go longer, but I was like, once I crackled after that third one, I was like, okay, one or two more, and I'm done. Dude,
that was good,
unbelievable.
But it was excellent. It's Ralph is now Rafa Rispo, where Carmine, president of Napoli Club Toronto, is designated. So Carmine Bellini for Canada. Ralph has now accepted the role as Rafa Bellini for
I'm the
North
States
America.
Bellini. The States Bellini.
The States Bellini. There you go.
I did it in Miami. I did it in Miami when we were there, and it's funny. I did it because we thought Callejon scored. It was the game against Barcelona in Miami. It was a goal to make it 1-1. I thought it was Callejon who scored. It turned out to be an own goal, but Phil was there, Azzurri fan Phil, and he was the biggest Callejon hater. So I had to do it and like point at Phil every time I did it. So that's where I realized, you know what, doing a Bellini chant with a bunch of fans that aren't at the Maradona. It's like bringing the San Paolo Maradona to the location, right? We want to have fun. We don't want to just be the next, oh, yay, goal, sit down. We want to freaking experience something. And I'll tell you what, I had someone come to me. Again, it was towards the end of the night. I was taking selfies with everybody. Everybody wants to meet me and take selfies with me. I sound like a celebrity. It's really not like that. It just was like, hey, man, I see you. I watch you on the show. Let's get a picture. Okay, boom, 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 boom. So I just decided to start getting pictures for it. And somebody I took a picture with was like, oh, dude, like we live for your Bellini chants now. And I'm like, oh, man, that's awesome. That's just so cool. You know, it's cool. It's dope. It's so much fun. But the goal came, and yes, Ralph, this is the extremely long-winded way of saying I don't think anybody was that nervous about after when Atalanta got the penalty kick. Lookman buried it, which was a fantastic penalty kick.
Yeah,
unbelievable penalty.
He hit that shit with authority in the top right corner.
He did, man, and they showed the angle from behind the net. And you see the ball kind of like when he shoots it, kind of go like it looks like it could go over the bar, but it kind of takes this little dip.
Yeah.
And it was such a great penalty. Anyway, Osimhen drew that penalty because of the handball in the box, and then makes up for it with the stunning. I mean, Ralph, that ball that Zielinski sent into Osimhen. I mean, I watched it again on slow mo a few times, and just the crispiness and the trajectory of the curve of that ball, how it perfectly went over everyone's head. It was like he literally meant to get that ball over everyone's head to Osimhen. It was like the ball had the target on it already. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you throw a missile, you have the coordinates where it's going to hit.
Right.
Like the ball had a trajectory to hit. And a destination, a final destination was Osimhen's head.
Yeah.
Great.
And to think how much we hate these short corner kicks, Rafa. But this one in particular, you know, Elmas and Zielinski kind of just going back and forth real quick. Zielinski, I think, you know, he had his eyes on Osimhen outside the box, and he just sprints forward a little bit, and like you said, delivers this perfect cross that feels like there's like a magnet in there to Osimhen's head. And let's talk about the difficulty. I remember Frank was sitting right across from me and was just like, look how he headed the ball. He actually had to come back a little bit with his neck. Like he took a step or two back before he took that jump. Yeah. Even in the air, he was slightly contorted and then had to, but just delivers a pinpoint accurate header. That was these things, they go so unlooked, sometimes so unlooked. But yeah, if I remember, Frank was calling out, and it was just, I was like, man, that was a beauty. And it was the tying goal.
Yeah, the game tying goal. Like I said, minutes later, it was Elmas, and that was it in the first half. I mean, the goals came in the first half, no goals in the second half. You know, we fended off some threats by Atalanta. I feel like our attack kind of got a little weaker towards the end of the game, but again, we're playing Atalanta. It's a, you know, second place team. You know, not the offensive team that they used to be, but definitely getting it done on defense. And we penetrated the defense twice, and that's all we needed. We held our ground. Defense did phenomenal job. Oliveira's a monster. Kim is the best defender in the league.
Amazing.
You know, Juan Jesus does his job back there. Medet was wonderful. Di Lorenzo was wonderful. Like, the team was really, really, like, they had an objective and they took it. They don't have to play beautiful calcio all the time. Like, you might see that beautiful calcio against Empoli, you know? And one of the biggest things about this whole thing, one of the biggest, like, factors of this whole match is Kvaratskhelia was out. So the buzz around the most exciting player in Serie A right now was out of the element of this match. It was not available. So still the match to me delivered as the best match of the weekend. And avanti così, we take 8 points over Atalanta, who for a little while was our biggest threat. And Milan on a very late, very beautiful Giroud goal.
Giroud, man, that guy makes you pay.
Did you see how he scored that goal, though?
That guy makes you pay.
Dude, he literally cocked his left foot back. Like in the air, he had his legs in the air and like went boop, with his freaking foot. And what I took from that was after that goal was scored, he took his jersey off. It was already on a yellow, so now he's unavailable for the next match this midweek, which is also pretty big because it's against Cremonese. Not that Cremonese is going to beat Milan, but they play very hard. So maybe without Giroud, you never know. Maybe sneak a draw in there, maybe. But 6 points difference between us and Milan. And we play against Empoli tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And
that's right.
And that's it. And then Empoli and then Udinese at 9 o'clock on Saturday. And then it's off to the World Cup.
Rafa, how about we give the beast to the match so we can continue? Because I feel like from the beast to the match, we're going to segue into a couple other things. So
Absolutely.
For everybody in the chat, I know there was a bunch of you that responded on Twitter. We appreciate it. Mixed bags, but there was one common name that stuck out. I want to know what the live chat thinks. And, of course, everybody on the order, on the replay, please put it in the comments. Let us know what you thought or who you thought was the beast of the match and why. But for the time being, let's show you ours. Here we go, guys. Yes, sirree, like Daniel Rajuda said, it's Ozzy.
It's Ozzy, and it's. I don't want to say it's not even close because a lot of players maybe deserve the beast of the match. Walking back to the train for you guys, the car for us. We were talking about it, weren't we, Ralph? You and I, my dad, Alex Romo. Another shout out to Alex Romo. Wow,
Big Alex.
We'll talk about him in a second, but let's stay on the beast of the match. We were like, who gets this award? Who can do it? And it just all signs pointed to Osimhen. Yes, he got foot mob man of the match. Yes, he did, deservedly so, but. It's in the manner of which he did it. Giving up the penalty kick on the handball, then redeeming himself 3 minutes later, and then providing the assist to Elmas in the fashion that he did it. Plus, he took a couple knocks in that game too. He was fouled really hard in a few of those chances, those instances in that second half. And something tells me he wanted to come off in the 76th minute, I think, is when he came off for Cholito. But unbelievable performance by Victor Osimhen. Well deserved beast of the match.
Ralph, I'm going to read out a comment to start my side of the story here. It's from Vincenzo Bertillo. He says, Ozzy was hands down the best and only choice. His face after conceding the penalty was so beastly, you just knew he was going to destroy after that. I'm with it. Now,
I'm with it.
He it was a close. The handball was close. He tried everything he can to get his hand back. Whatever. A handball is a handball. They ended up getting a penalty kick. Lookman buries the ball. The expression on Ozimhen's face, not one of disgust or upset, being upset or disappointed, focused. Keeps his head. He's looking up. He definitely feels it. He knows he made this mistake, and he comes back and he completely makes up for it. That is a beast moment. That's what wins him the game. He gets the tying goal on a beautiful header. Yes, Zielinski gives him another gorgeous cross, things that we've been seeing from like Mario Rui lately, or Raspadori, or Zielinski. These gorgeous crosses, but he buries it in a manner, like you said, Rafa, was just unreal. And then after that, bodies, what can you say his name? Demirol? Is that, did I say it right?
Demirol.
All right. Sounds like a
What?
antihistamine. But anyway, like, but
He's a former Juventus defender. He Turkish, one of the most physical defenders in the whole league. So
definitely.
for him to like, it's one thing he did against, one thing he did against Smalling and with Roma, but here too against Demiral. You know, and is it a coincidence that he won Beast for Roma and he wins Beast now too? Like 2 matches where he completely bodies the left back. You know?
Right. And is able to pick out Elmas, and Elmas again just being patient with the ball, picking his spot, scoring a goal, an assist. I mean, he just kind of made it up. He made up the difference. He didn't set back and throw his hands up. He took the game to Atalanta and he wins it for us. Victor Osimhen, beast of the match.
Now, some honorable mentions for you, Ralph. For really quick for me, an honorable mention for me, and I know you're going to talk about somebody that I had as an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
But first, before I get to that person, for me was Oliveira. I think Oliveira really had a great game on that left wing. You know, he's really finding himself. He's winning balls. He's getting to balls. He's crossing it in. He's pressing up a little bit higher, like Matteo Bonetti knows how to. Every game I see him doing a little bit better and better. Still some work to be done, but I think he really did show himself in that match. And then another real strong candidate for me was Alex Medet. And I know that you're going to talk about him, but in my opinion, the 2 saves he made, I mean, he made a few other saves, but the 2 big saves he made, the one in the first 2 minutes of the match where he was kind of one-on-one with Højlund, and makes a save.
Yeah.
And then the crazy play with Lookman and I think it was Højlund who took the shot again, but Lookman with the ball that hit the crossbar, but that big save he made. The fact that he made those saves after, you know, some easy, you know, games where he didn't have to do much, and then the response from after that Liverpool match, for me, just was big for me. You know what I mean? Where Atalanta didn't score a goal from open play. It was a penalty kick that got them on the score sheet, and you know, for me he made a difference. So honorable mention for him, in my opinion.
Rafa, I am with you there. I am certainly with you as far as by the way, Oliveira, number 1. Even Kim, I thought excellent performance. But the biz on Meret, as far as this game, the last game, and maybe even a little bit of Bologna, is that yes, Meret had a beastly performance. He made some great saves. He backed up his team. His reaction saves were great. He was way more decisive. Do we have? Oh, wait a minute.
Put that on hold because we have a very special guest. I'll alert the media, Ralph.
Hold on, guys. Forget Meret for 1 minute. We just forget Meret for 1 minute. All right, we got a very special guest in. It was last minute, but it happened. Let's just introduce him, right? No, let's waste no time here. You know him. You love him. One of the correspondents on Paramount Plus, CBS Golazo. The man himself is frozen, I think.
I see myself perfectly clear.
Do you? Hold on here. Hold on.
The
internet you guys got up in Saratoga, man.
Yo,
Hey man, the studio's in Queens, all right? That is Saratoga nothing, all right?
Oh, you guys renting out a studio space in Queens now for this? This
No.
is great. This
Yeah.
is high level budget,
We're
Hey,
misleading you. I don't know what's
see,
going
this
on.
is-
We have a black screen here.
We have a
Matteo.
black screen.
bro.
Are you protecting your CBS rights? Is what's
Nah, man.
going
Are
on?
you not seeing me?
No,
Are you not seeing me
just
right
kidding.
now?
No, we can hear you. We can't see you
Can hear
on
you.
screen, and you're frozen in our little white box down here. So
I'll be right back.
maybe
right?
get out
Yeah,
and come
you know
back.
what?
Yeah, why don't you
I'm
get
out.
out? I'm still alerting the masses.
All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, you pop back. Surprise.
Surprise!
Do we want to get back to Merritt right now? Does it even matter?
Forget Medet. Well, no, tell
Merritt.
him about Medet really quick.
All right,
while he
fine.
comes in.
Listen, I'll get on Merritt. Wait, no.
Never mind,
Hold
he's
on.
back.
Never mind. There we go. We
There
got
he
you,
is.
buddy. The man himself, Matteo Bonetti. How are you, buddy?
What's up, guys? How you doing, Raff and Raff? You guys all right? Always a pleasure to jump
we're-
on. But you know I've been wanting to do this for the last year, but every Monday I've got, my family. I got to put down the kids. I'm alone with them. They're animals.
Family over-
Man, you guys got a lot of the Napoletani in here, huh?
We
Oh,
really
yeah.
do. Listen, family over everything, Matteo. Come on.
For sure. I mean, you can see my eyes. Like, look how glazed red they are. Yeah, I never stop because I work Saturday and Sunday, but then the real work starts Monday to Friday. And that's when you're alone with two kids.
Yeah.
When you've got your partner that's working 5 days a week, and so I'm in dad mode now until Friday.
But that's the best mode, brother. That's the best mode, in my opinion.
Debatable. It's nice to have time for yourself too, man. It gets to be a lot, especially when you're trying to watch games and you got someone throwing up on you. I'm seeing some questions. Gaetano Solazzo, the first question comes back is when you going to a meet? Look, I would love to go to a Napoli meet because I know we're going to eat the best pizza in the world. I know that we're going to have the best laughs. I've always said it. Napoletani are the funniest people. The taxi rides that I have taken from the train station to wherever else in Napoli, the biggest characters. I had one time a taxista Napoletano who started meowing at me when he was driving in the wrong lane. I was like, what is this guy doing? I was looking at my partner. I was like, what's going on here? And he says, I run the biggest YouTube channel where I meow at people and they think it's a cat. So this is the kind of people that you meet when you're in Napoli in taxis and, on the traghetto or wherever else you go. No, not the traghetto, the aliscafo. To go off to the islands. It's one of my favorite places on earth. And my grandfather, by the way, from Benevento, so provincia di Napoli. So I could say I'm 25% Napoletano.
There certainly are a lot of characters. I think I met that guy who does the sounds. I remember he was in front of the Centro Termini, the central station, doing this, and somebody was telling me, yeah, this guy's famous. He does it all the time. So
he is famous. We got lucky. He's got 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. He just meows at people. That's his shtick, and it works. Hey, he's making money from it. He's enjoying life.
My uncle from lives in Napoli. He once said to me, he's like, sometimes it's hard to find work in Naples, but other times we just create our own work, and this is like one of those perfect examples of that.
I love Naples, man. It's unlike anywhere else I've been in my life. You go down there and you can feel that. To me, it's the city with the most energy, the fans have the most passion, and you guys suffered a long time, right? Because from 95 to 2009, you weren't in any European competitions. You were in the lower leagues. It has been a grind for the people that are our age, millennials, mid-30s, 40s. It's been a while to see this level now, to get this excitement. A lot of us don't remember the Maradona days, sadly.
Oh, Matteo, I have a flash. It's behind my eyes, man. I get these flashes of the 86, 87 Scudetto. I mean, literal pictures. And the 89, 90 Scudetto was a little more, I was 7 at that point, so I can remember a lot more of that. One thing I do remember most is celebrating in the Bronx, Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, and taking my uncle's Astro van, my dad driving it, and my uncle with one of my cousins on top of the van, driving slowly through the Bronx, waving the Napoli flags, horns beeping, as if Italy won the World Cup. And there were a lot of Napoli fans back then. I don't know where they all went.
I always forget how old you are because your beard hides it. You look like you have a
Dude,
baby face, but it's just the beard covering all the wrinkles.
Listen, you can't see all the grays. The grays are here. They're just hiding through. And in here too. I'll be 40 in March, Matteo. I'll be 40 in March.
Okay, so you remember the early 90s then. See,
I do.
My dad was taking me to San Siro from 90 to 93 before I moved to Miami. I was born in 87, and my first memories of the Invincibles, that's what we were watching, the Gulli Rijkaard, Maldi. Anyway, I don't want to talk about those guys. This is a Napoli show, but I wish I could remember better, those days, because I was a 5-year-old kid. I was looking at I was like staring up at something else when there was the best team, one of the best teams in history, right below. I was an idiot. You're an idiot when you're 5. So what can you expect?
You're just a snot-nosed kid, with long hair. Didn't you have long hair? CBS did show the picture. I think you it too. But I remember seeing
long blonde locks. I was like who's the way Zerbin. That was my look.
Zerbin.
That was your
I had the Zerbin look. Yeah.
I was surprised to see you cut your hair shorter and shaved your beard a little bit on CBS recently, correct?
I was going for the Movember thing, but then I thought there's no way I'm going to have this mustache. I wasn't going to my wife said I couldn't sleep in the house if I had the mustache. Yeah. I was getting carded when I was going to buy a bottle of wine, so I was like, I'm growing out the beard again.
You were getting carded?
Without the beard. Bro, if I shave, I look like legit under 21. I was absolutely getting carded. Man, we're getting the hot takes are coming in now. Cavada is better than Kaká. Wow, that one hurts me. That one hurts me. Whoever said that.
They said Cavada's better than Kaká.
Za is actually a new. This is kind of a new viewer here from Guatemala. This comment comes all the way from Guatemala. We will see.
Wow, that is a scorching hot take right there. Kaká, when he won the Ballon d'Or before the injuries, was one of the best players of the 21st century.
Yeah,
I'm not saying, Cavada can get to that point. I think Cavada has Ballon d'Or quality in the future. I mean, what does he need to do more? He's going to probably finish with 16, 18 goals, 16, 18 assists. To me, Cavada is already world class. I've already said it on air. And he potentially top 3 worldwide. That's my ceiling for Cavada. I mean, as high as you could possibly go, along the likes of the Mbappes of the world. I think Cavada could get to that level, which is insane when you think that this guy was in the Georgian League 6 months ago. It's, to me, one of the greatest stories in transfer market history, what you guys were able to do for 10 million euro, what Giuntoli was able to do to because let's be honest, and I don't know if you guys have said it, but Lorenzo Insigne was pretty mediocre in open play for 18 months, right?
Yeah.
It
was noticeable. It was very noticeable, yeah.
Cavada's so much better, man. So much better in every way.
It's also for me, Matteo, and I know that a lot of people like to say, Napoli started this way before. There's a couple seasons where they started, unbeaten, undefeated in 8, unbeaten in 14, whatever. It's such a difference. You can feel it through the television screens at the barbershop, at the house, at the wherever you are at Ribalta, from the studio, I'm sure too. You can feel the difference in the air just projecting from the screen. What's going on at the Maradona, because a lot of it to me wasn't just Insigne's down, decline. Where, don't get me wrong, I still appreciated his game even last season. I didn't think he had as bad a season as everybody's trying to put out there that he was.
It wasn't bad. It was mediocre.
It wasn't bad. He didn't score. He didn't score a lot from open play. He still did create a lot. Whatever. My thing is his mentality, his attitude. I dare I say it's a very, very hot take and a very controversial topic in my opinion. Dare I say that he was, I don't want to say developed into a cancer, maybe, but definitely a wrong attitude, like a negative vibe towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Uncertain with the contract, all that stuff.
Yeah, and who could have? Vincenzo Bertillo says, "Where do you think this past summer transfer window ranks all time? Cavada, Kemanguissa, Ostigaro, Oliveira, Spadori, Simeone, and Ndombele for all. It's true, all less than 100 million." Look, to me, in terms of quality for money, because anyone could go out there and Rafa, you just do a blank check, right? And you say, I'll take Mbappe, I'll take Haaland, I'll take Lionel Messi, I'll take Neymar, I'll take the finished product. It doesn't take any skill, you know. ZA from Guatemala could do that right now. He could go out and buy the best players. It doesn't take any skill. To have a scout that's looking at a guy who was at Rubin Kazan in the Russian Premier League, which isn't exactly a factory of talent these days, and then Dinamo Batumi, it means that they've been scouting, and they're going into the trenches, like they're going in deep, small leagues, Eastern Europe, to try to find these players that, like, why wasn't a Premier League team on him? Apparently Juventus was sniffing around, but Napoli in the end is the one that pulled the trigger. They're the ones that put the check to Dinamo Batumi and signed this kid. And I remember watching him in the summer in the preseason friendlies, and I was like, okay, he's a really good dribbler. Tanto fumo niente arrosto, most likely, is my first thought. And wow, was I wrong. I mean, when I first saw him, you thought, okay, he's a great dribbler. And then you're like, hold on, he's 2-footed. And then you see the creativity and the vision, and he puts it all together. And to me, he's one of the most magical footballers that I've commented on. I mean, I've been lucky enough to comment on Lionel Messi in his prime when he was at Barcelona, Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, some true generational greats. In terms of Serie A players, you know, Dybala, when he first joined Juventus, was very special. But it's hard to think of a player under 21 that has been this good. And, you know, to me, he just has this extra magic, right? Even compared to Rafael Leao, who's the MVP of Serie A, who I love, right? Who I think is a bargain if you get him for 100 million. Kvara just has these intangible, something's different with this guy and something's different with Napoli, because I can feel the magic when I'm commentating them. And it's like all these players are suddenly raised together. Like Zielinski looks amazing. Zambo Anguissa looks amazing. Lobotka looks like Marco Verratti. So Kim from the Turkish league. Kim looks like the best version of Koulibaly. Mario Ruiz suddenly one of the best left backs in Italy. Like, none of this really makes any sense to me, but I am loving the ride. I hope it's not a flash. I don't think it is, because now we have 4 months of we have a lot of games to sample size. I want Napoli to win the Scudetto. I've said it before. I think it's great for the league, and I'm saying this completely neutrally because I generally don't care who wins. I just want it to be fun, and I just think for the storylines, Napoli winning, I want to be there. I want to be in Naples if that ever happens, because I know it's going to be the greatest party ever thrown, and I think it's going to be the longest celebration. You will not hear the end of it, and I would be honestly so happy for you guys. I genuinely would.
I think the party will last to the beginning of next season, Marat. But
yeah,
Matteo, I want to ask you a question. Like, some other fan bases and things ask, like, if this is not their year, they'll never win it. That's kind of like, I know it's a strong statement, but like, what else do we need? Like, man, what else would they need?
You could have said this when Cavani, Lavezzi, and Hamsik were disbanded. You could have said this when Gonzalo Higuain left after he scored 36 goals. That's when I thought they're never going to win it again. You get a striker who's just tied the single-season goal-scoring record. They play amazing football under Maurizio Sarri. Dries Mertens' season when he went off and he nearly scored 30. Like, those are the seasons where I thought, man, they came so close and they just had to stumble down the end. You know, there was the Koulibaly and the Fiorentina game. Like, so many instances where you think this surely has to be their year, and then they blow it at the end. Now we're thinking that again. But the great thing is, before they were the second best team in Italy. They came into the season now as the fifth best team, according to a lot of bookies. And these aren't hot takes. These are bookies that use more analytics and data than anyone else, because this is real money at stake. You're not setting odds based on hot takes. You're setting odds based on all the information you can gather that you put in some stupid thing. And that stupid thing said that Napoli was a 28-1 dog to win the Scudetto, fifth place, according to all the bookies. So this would make it even more special in my eyes.
How you like us now?
You know, I put 100 on Napoli at 25-1. I cashed out after round 5 because it was.
What were they
I
offering?
was round 5 or 6. I got 500. I got 500 out of it.
Rafa.
I said, you know what? Taking it. pulling out.
Rafa, where are those big Neapolitan palle, man?
Dude,
I thought you'd take them out.
Can I say something,
Come on.
Matteo? Listen, we just visited the office of Serie A in New York City. Gorgeous, beautiful, amazing. Love it. Love everything about it. I was at the CBS, we were at the CBS Destination Brooklyn. And I walk in, and this is my father and I. Bizarro hadn't been there yet. And I walk in, Matteo, and the first thing I see is the freaking Scudetto. And I knew my dad was going right for it. And I said, no. Come on, Raf, what do you do? I said, don't touch that thing. He's like,
it's Scaramanzia, man.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. And then I saw Marco showed up, Messina, and he told me, you know what? My dad doesn't have it either. Like, I don't know what it is, but because when he told me a story about how when he was younger, he wanted to use the same shin guards and like he was outgrowing it or whatever because he won with them. And he goes, that's stupid. You know, you put new shin guards on, you're still the same player. Don't listen to that. And he goes, from then on, he didn't care about the Scaramanzia. You know what I mean? Me, I can't. I mean, I can't do it. Even at the office, like he was like, come on, I'll take the pictures. I'm like, no. There's a picture of me going.
No, you're doing the right thing, man. Especially in the south of Italy, it's maybe the most superstitious place in the world. Like, there's a superstition for everything. Like, when I go down there, you know, they're telling me things like, "Oh, don't put the keychain up there. Don't do this." All these things I've never heard of because apparently they're big superstitions in the south. So the worst thing you can do is start posing with the Scudetto, is start making bold Scudetto claims. Just let it be. Let it be, seriously, because it's not like you're probably not the one that's deciding the fate of Napoli. You know, we all think we're deciding it based on our own Scaramanzia, but just let it be. The last thing you want to do is take a photo with the Scudetto because that will be thrown back in your beard.
It's gonna live in there. We can eat from it. That's what's gonna happen for sure.
Everybody's been on this kind of hands-off stance this season. Like, whatever happens. If we're underdogs, we're underdogs. Fine. But everybody's kind of like not hyping anything up, just kind of enjoying the ride, it seems, and might be a good technique.
It just
aren't they the favorites now though? Like,
they have to be now.
I'd be curious to see what the odds are now because who else has been as convincing as Napoli? Inter have been up and down, no idea what you're going to get. Juventus play awful until then. They have one half like they did second half against Inter, which is very unlike them. Milan. The best case for Milan is that they're second and they've had a massive injury crisis. So in January, Magnan comes back. Like, Milan, I think, has by far the best shot out of all the other teams. And that's like glass half full, is that Milan's still within a game. And Napoli have played almost as perfect as you can be for the first few months of the season. I'm curious to see now with the Champions League, though, like playing every 3 days, and then you have the shortened season because of the World Cup, which is this stupid World Cup in December. So I hope that depth doesn't become a factor, but Napoli's well equipped, man. That's the thing; they're well equipped now. Look at that, minus 140. Who's taking those odds now? All these Napolitani here in the chat, they're all sitting on plus 14. 14-1, 20-1. All these nonsense odds, man.
That's right. I use FanDuel. It's minus 180 on FanDuel. Craziness. And you said it yourself. We have the depth. Going back to what you said about the years prior, with Cavani and then with Higuain and all those teams, we always could go back to what did we miss? What were we missing? And we could identify what was missing. Like for me, Sarri, we talked about this before though, Matteo. For me, Sarri had no plan B, no bench, no. He used the same guys.
He never rotated.
They were overtired.
He put on Elmas every game, and who was that guy? Rogue. He put in
Rogue, Marco Rogue, every single game. Yeah. So for me, it was that you can identify it. Now it's like, dude, now speaking of Elmas, now they're starting Elmas Matteo. When we were waiting outside of Ribalta, and we were like wondering, okay, are they going to play Chucky? There's a rumor Chucky was going to go on the left and Politano was going to go on the right, and it was going to make my barber Gil at the barbershop extremely happy because he's Mexican. He likes to see Chucky on the left. And then, the obvious Raspadori. And when one of our guys announced, oh my gosh, it's Elmas, we're standing there with our hands in our heads like, what is going on here? This is Atalanta. We got to win this game. Yeah. And he gets the freaking winner. Spalletti and his Panchina. You think he's going to do something to screw something up? And it's funny because we were with Christina Cupo, and she had made that comment on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, where if Napoli have one weakness, it might be Spalletti. She sort of doubled down it at the party, but she explained why she said that, and it makes a little bit of sense. But so you think to yourself, somewhere down the line, Spalletti's going to do something to mess things up. But he's been a genius with balls the size of grapefruits. Never mind Neapolitan balls.
I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that. I think Spalletti's overachieved wherever he's gone. I mean, I remember his Roma. You know, look at what he's had and what he's been able to create. He's one of the great attacking minds, I think, out of Italian managers in this century. Honestly, I'm super high on Spalletti. I've always been high on Spalletti. I like that question from Vincenzo Bertillo. Can you put that up in the lower third?
Sure.
That was a good one. Other than Cavado, which Napoli players impressed you the most? I think a lot of people would say Seaman, right? And you'd be fair to say the guy has had such bad luck. I mean, the fractured orbital. I watch tons of UFC, guys. It's my favorite sport. It really is. I watch every fight every Saturday. When I saw Seaman's cheek, it was like he had been in a heavyweight 5-round main event. I mean, that thing was indented. And I was saying, this guy cannot get a break. Every season he's injured and he misses 2 or 3 months. He's world-class to me. Him and Cavada are world-class. So the player that's impressed me the most other than Cavada is not a Seaman, because I knew he was that good. I know that when he's healthy, the player he is. It has to be Kim, right?
Oh, yeah.
You could go Mario Rui, but Kim is another guy, man. Kim was signed from the Turkish Super League, man. Like, again, for very little money. And he's got pace. He's got aggression. He's got great aerial ability. He reads the game well. He's a good man marker. I have this program called Y Scout. It's what a lot of teams use, a lot of scouts use. And it's like a YouTube highlight on steroids. You go there and you put in any player's name and you can see every touch they've ever had in their career. So it's a great way to get to know a player well for commentary and stuff. So when they signed Kim and Jay, I was like, I've never seen this guy. I don't watch Turkish league. So I went in and I watched like all of his moments in various big derbies in Istanbul, whatever. And I was like, this is Koulibaly 2.0. This guy had every single attribute that Koulibaly had. He had the pace, he had the aggression, he had the man marking, he was an enforcer, and he's translated it right away. He hasn't had like that period where he's settling in. Him and Rachmani look like they've played together for 5 years. Like, it really does blow my mind. Cavada and Kim especially, man. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. We were all saying, no, Kim needs a little time to adjust. You know, the normal garb, Matteo. When a new player comes into a new league, oh, he needs time to adjust, and he needs to settle into Italian culture. You know what I mean? But the reality is, he was a Turkish league defender of the season on the Turkish League 11 last season with Fenerbahce, and we had also been scouting him for a couple of seasons too. And
is that so?
Dude, he came in. Yeah, we scouted him. I think it was last season. We were linked with him, and it didn't happen. But
I'd never heard his name, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where you see it on like an article, like a Tutto Napoli or something.
Right,
like
it's
that,
like
right?
tribal football or whatever. You're like, okay,
yeah,
shut up, guys.
Exactly.
Clickbait, BS.
But this didn't turn out to be clickbait. This was freaking for real. He came in and you know, I remember when Koulibaly first played with Napoli, first came on the scene, right? I remember when he first came on the scene, and he was a little clumsy at his feet, good with his aerial. You know, he did get a goal against Palermo, like match 3, but he struggled to adapt just a little bit. Like him and Benitez, they got along, but they weren't vibing. It wasn't until Sarri, about 2, 3, 4 years in, he became Koulibaly, who we know, the top 3 center back in the whole world.
He was raw that first season. Remember how
he was very
raw
raw. He was very raw. Yeah, absolutely. Then Kim comes in, and Kim looks like year 4 Koulibaly, and right away, and it's like, man, we really did forget Koulibaly. Like, we forgot him. Never gonna forget him.
Question for you two and the people in the chat too, chime in. What's your take so far on Ndombele? Because I've got a story for you on that too.
Okay, Ndombele for me is I was always very excited that he came in because I know that he was really instrumental in that Lyon team. And when Tottenham's going to buy a player for, I don't know how many million they bought him for, he's got some sort of, credibility to his game. He just didn't fit there. So we get him, right? And of course, the slow start, we got him right at the end of the transfer window, right? The transfer market. So he didn't get a lot of training with the team on preseason or what have you. And then they had to play that like Juve Stabia friendly when there was a week off that they played, and he played and he scored and it was really good. But progressively, more and more and more, he's getting his 90 minutes in, because I remember at CBS as well. So we were sandwiched. Remember this, Ralph? We were sandwiched in between Liverpool fans on our right and Tottenham fans on our left, watching their games. And I will never forget these sets of. If you saw the coverage, it was the same guys who held up the sign saying, "Where's Arsenal? What time does Arsenal start?" And ball busting Thierry Henry. And they came to me with Napoli stuff. Yeah, Napoli. How's Ndombele doing for you? How's his 30 minutes doing? And I'm like, actually, he played 85 the other day, and he got a couple. He got a couple goals in the Champions League. So how about that? He played 90 minutes that game. And I turned to them as they just got scored on by one of their former players for Sporting. I said, "Yo, and Ndombele just hit the crossbar." Oh, he's playing 90. What's up with you? I love him.
So the reason why I asked is because when I was at beIN Sports down in Miami, we had the Ligue 1 rights, and me and Andres Cordero commentated Ligue 1 as much as we commentated Serie A.
Right.
So I remember I did all of his games in his last season at Lyon and the ones before that, but at Lyon especially. I remember saying it. We said it every week. He was like one of the players we talk about the most because he looked insane. Like, this guy, box to box, incredible technical ability, hard to dispossess, rocket of a shot from distance, a bit of creativity. He was like, trying to think of maybe like a Yaya Toure, I think is a pretty good example of like a player that I thought, okay, this is the potential here. So when Tottenham signed him, I remember I went on Twitter. I'm like, hey, Tottenham fans, I've been covering him. This kid's going to be amazing. And then apparently he's got some issues off the pitch, a little bit of laziness, doesn't train as hard as you'd want. Definitely not a Conte type player. So is it just the case that it was wrong team, wrong time? Is it something deeper with him? Is it just a maturity thing? This is the biggest question I have, because in terms of his skill, there's no questions. Mm-hmm. His head, that's where it seems like there was a bit of a disconnect with Tottenham, and that's why he was considered a bust in the end at Tottenham. So is he going to now feel this sense of, hold on, I'm in something new, something special, I've got a chance here? Or is he going to sulk because ultimately, if everyone's healthy, he's probably not a starter. I mean, who's he taking the place of? He's not taking Zambo's place, not taking Lobotka. He's not a Lobotka, so you need Lobotka because he's the only guy doing that role. And he's never going to take Zielinski's place because he's one of the first names on the team sheet. So I'm curious to see more mentally how the second half affects him. My hope is that there's enough games to go around. He'll get his chances. He'll stay happy. He'll be motivated because the talent's there. So he's one of the more interesting transfers, I think, from the summer in terms of what I'm looking forward to seeing in the second half.
I wonder if it's the good old Southern hospitality from Napoli that can kind of get him back into his game, because
atmosphere.
I mean, he won beast of the match with us against Rangers, where he comes in off the bench and just completely.
And he played 7 minutes. He played 7 minutes in that game in Glasgow, and he comes in. He gets a goal. He almost scored another goal. I think. What did he get assist too in that game? I don't remember. Yeah. Dude, listen, he might have almost. That's where but that's where it started, Ralph. Right? That's where it started, to where he started progressively getting better and better and better. I remember, I think the only game the first game he started in was one of those two draws to Fiorentina or Lecce, and it was like, wasn't enough. I think he started for Zielinski one of those two games. But again, the time went on, and I think another thing is, Matteo, for me, is that he's buying into Spalletti's, what Spalletti is selling. He's buying it. You know what I mean? Because you have to know, you're here on a loan. I think it's a dry loan. I'm not 100% sure what the deal is, but you're here on a loan. You're here to help out with the depth. The starters are.
Is there a buyout? What is it?
I don't think so.
32,
I don't think
32
so.
million?
There could be. I could be wrong, Matteo, about that.
That's a decent amount of money, especially for Napoli. You know,
it's a decent.
I mean, that's what you
money.
spent on Chucky Lozano, a player that is well good. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it later.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Listen. We rant. That's what we're doing.
I don't really like him. That's why I don't really like him as a player. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't really like his characteristics. I think he has his uses.
Yeah.
And he's obviously been played slightly out of position. He's best as a left winger. He's never going to play there because he had Insigne first, Cavada next. So forget that. But he's got to adapt too. Like at the end of the day, like you're on the right. Maybe you're not going to be a goal scoring option like you were at BSV. But he's just not like when you see Cavada and then the ball goes to Lozano, it's almost like, okay, well, he's not a very technical player. He's quick. He can kind of herky-jerky movements, but in terms of with the ball, he's not like an elegant player. I don't know. I think for the money that Napoli spent, he's a slight disappointment. I wouldn't call him a bust because he had a good goal scoring season where he had like a dozen goals, right? What was it, 2 years ago that he scored like a dozen or 14 goals?
Year two or something.
He's not. Look, he's not. He's just not my cup of tea. I think is the best way I could say.
It's fair. That's fair.
Is it because of the fee though? Because of a few people say this. Is it because of the fee? Like if he was a little bit cheaper, do we give him a little bit more of a pass? A little bit more.
I just feel like he's a bit like. You know who he reminds me of? He has a little bit of Juan Iturbe. Do you remember Juan Iturbe?
I do remember Iturbe. Yes.
Just kind of like a rudderless rudderless speedboat. Just kind of out of control. I think that's Lozano's probably a better player than Juan Iturbe. Juan Iturbe was at Verona and then he got bought by Roma. It didn't work out there.
That's right. It was Roma and Verona.
That's the one player on the lineup right now that I'm.
It's a fair point, and he's hot and cold in here. He is. He's hot and cold in here, and it's one. He had that stretch of games where he scored 3 in 3 matches, and he was coming around, and now, he put in a rather disappointing 60-70 minutes against Atalanta, which was whatever. I think. I'm still comfortable with him in the lineup. I don't see Chucky and oh no, you know what I mean? That's going to do it.
Hold on, but do you think Politano's better than Chucky?
Yes,
if you had to choose one?
Yes, I'd rather.
I like Politano in terms of what he offers from a technical standpoint because I think he's not as quick, but he's more shifty and he can create a bit of space. He's got a decent left foot. Politano, Politano's a pretty good city out winger.
Right.
It's good to have that competition between the two, between Politano and Lozano, because they're going to push each other. That's the hope. But that's the one area where I'm like, take it or leave it. I think someone said in the chat, take it or leave it's the best way.
But you know what? Compared to last season, though, Matteo, I think both of them are doing so much better. Like last season, last season I was questioning if it's just that we don't play well on the wings with Spalletti. And this season it's proved me wrong because you got Kvara and you got Politano Lozano covering the right. And they're doing a fine job. You know what I mean? Collectively, Politano and Lozano are doing a good job, in my opinion. And I think Lozano was better than Politano coming into Napoli, but it just didn't work. It's not, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to. And that might have something to do with just him always saying something like, I've always wanted to play for a bigger club. He said that once before and kind of left a little bad taste in the mouths of Neapolitans and, whatever.
Damn.
Whatever he walked off the pitch while we celebrated. I think it was against Milan. And he walked off the pitch. And I was like, that's not. Oh, was it Lazio?
Live TV.
Live TV. No, you're doing good, man. This is good production. There's some great beards, by the way, in the comments. Every time you flash the person's face, all I see are just perfect beards, man.
Yeah, I think we.
Listen. Let's
some
not
good-looking people in this chat.
Let's not throw perfect around, okay?
And good-looking hosts, of course.
Listen, good-looking people, yes. Beards, nobody's perfect.
Would love to hear Matteo's take on Meret. Look, I actually feel bad for Meret because I think that's the hardest position to be in when you know the team isn't fully invested in you when you
Right.
know that they're trying to get Keylor Navas in the last few weeks, who's one of the best keepers in the world. And Meret responding the way he did. He has one howler. I did that game. One howler to his name this season.
The Bologna.
But
Is that it?
the one that went right through his hands.
Yeah.
But he's made so many good saves, and he's shown character in the biggest games. He showed character against Liverpool in the Champions League. Like, this is a guy that, as a goalkeeper, to have that sort of fear, to know that I'm not the guy. Ospina already beat me in the last few seasons for the starting role. I've been snubbed by different managers. Like, that's a tough position to be in. But Meret, the first thing I remember hearing about him is that the under-21 Italy coach, the Azzurrini coach, he had said that from a technical standpoint, in terms of being goalkeeper, Meret was at a higher level than Donnarumma when they were both in that setup. So this is when Meret was the Serie B goalkeeper of the year, and he was coming to Serie A, so we hadn't seen too much of him. But I think he could improve his distribution. I mean, that's obvious. He's not Manuel Neuer. But that's one area that I think he could get better. And obviously ironing out the few mistakes. But I think this is the best version of Meret that we've seen at Napoli, right?
In my opinion, yes, it is. Ralph, you have something to say?
No, I mean, considering what we've been doing this season, yeah, this is probably, and considering everything he's dealt with over the past season or two, kind of competing with time for Ospina.
Well, yeah,
pretty good job. I'm not complaining.
Absolutely.
Napoli have this 3-1 average this season. I mean, if we keep that up, we'll be just fine. So
we'll be champions.
I'm fine. I was questioning. I caught some slack, Matteo, because I was questioning some of his save selections. He seemed to be a little bit, indecisive with that howler from Bologna. I saw it again, even though it was kind of point blank range, a hard shot coming low in the Champions League versus Liverpool. That first goal that he gave up, it just I had said that I don't think he was fully confident in some of his save selections. That's something that I want to see him improve on, but the thing with Meret that's tough is that there's so many damn good keepers in the league. Even keepers that aren't household names. Like, look at Guglielmo Vicario of Empoli is amazing. Just go look, if you haven't heard of him, go look at his saves on YouTube. Like, this guy's a stud. Provedel, right? Who was at was at Spezia last season?
And he went to Lazio.
And then he went to Lazio as the backup, and he's put the guy who's supposed to be the starter on the bench because he got red carded in the 6th minute of the first game. There's a lot of good keepers in this league, so when you make a mistake, it's even more glaring because you're used to such goalkeeping play across the board, even with the small provincial teams.
Did you see? You saw the Milan game, I'm assuming, Milan Spezia. Who's it? Drangowski? Yeah. Is that Spezia's keeper now? Drangowski, right? Is it Drangowski?
Yes.
Or is it? Yeah. Or Skorupski?
Yeah.
Not Skorupski, right?
Why am I blanking?
It happens to me all the time. Anyway, whoever the heck it was, what a performance in the first half. Actually, today, watching back the Napoli match because we're at the club meet, we're mingling and talking and watching and eating and video taping and editing, and it got frustrated. So Ralph and I always go back and watch again to study or whatever. Right. So yeah, Drangowski. So I'm watching and I'm cutting, and then it goes right to the Milan Spezia game, and I start watching the first half of that as I'm working. And every time I look around, Drangowski's doing another save with his feet or another crazy save. He had a great first half. So I get that, man. Serie A goalkeepers I would put them up against any leagues goalkeepers in the whole world.
Our coaches and our goalkeepers, man, we just produce so many of them.
And it's always been that way. It's always been that way.
Yeah. So, someone before said that Paulie is such a great Paulie. Dude, I'm blanking on even the names. Politano, man. Politano. This guys, tell you one who doesn't have kids. This is what happens when you're up at 5 and you're dealing with 2 kids.
All right.
One of them who has a broken leg. It's just crazy. You start forgetting things. You start blanking.
I saw that.
Paulie. Why was I thinking of Andrea Paulie?
Andrea Poli.
Your mind just stops working. At least it happens here, and it doesn't happen when I'm on commentary. Because the difference is when I'm on commentary, I slept well. I got 8 hours in the hotel.
Yeah.
Here it's different. Here I'm just like a discount store version of myself.
But it's cool because we get the real Matteo Poli.
Yeah, man.
I called you Politano,
bro. Same with
bro.
you,
I
man.
got the
Same
kids
with you.
too. Trust me, and the business and all that. Trust me, I know.
You got the kids. I got time. Let's do one more question, man.
I want to do something about
I got the family that just rolled in.
Listen, let's take this last question. We'll get out and we'll all get out together because we're past the hour mark up. And I want to hear your thoughts about it from our boy Mo Salah. Matteo, do you think Napoli can make a genuine noise in the UCL?
Great question. Absolutely, yes. I would not be shocked if they can go to the semifinal. I think they got a great draw in the round of 16. On their day, who wants to play Napoli, man? Because they have nothing to lose. Manchester City, PSG, all these teams. First of all, there might be a scenario in which PSG and Liverpool get knocked down in the round of 16 because they have hellish matchups. And if that happens, that already knocks out, two of the supposed 4 best teams in the world. So that bodes really well for the Italians. Napoli on their day, what they did to Liverpool at home, if they can play like that, who wants to play them? Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG, Manchester City. Who wants to play them? Manchester City, Napoli might be the most entertaining game. Oh, man, can you imagine? Pep Guardiola is going to be frothing at the mouth, thinking of how fun this game, because he appreciates attacking managers. He appreciated, remember the City game against Sarri that he said how much he loved playing against Sarri?
I do.
That's my dream matchup for Napoli. I maybe could they pull a Leicester, and can you imagine they win the whole thing? That they win the Champions League before they win the Scudetto? Like, this is insane.
What can I say?
But why not, man? This is the magic of Champions League. When you've got a team like this, you're allowed to dream. You're not crazy.
It's 7 more matches.
Crazier things. I've seen crazier things in my lifetime happen. So why not? Like, why can't it happen to Napoli?
Put it this way. It's 7 more matches in which you only really need 4 more wins. Let's put it that way. Right? When you think about that, round of 16, quarters, semis, final. You get wins in 4 of those games and draws in the rest. Napoli goes 4 wins, 3 draws in the Champions League. They win the Champions League. And
Kim and Haaland, that's a good matchup. Kim against Mbappe as well. Kim got beaten by someone goofy? Who was it that beat Kim?
When
it was an Atalanta player. It wasn't an Atalanta player on Saturday. That just kind of slipped in way too easy. And I remember even making a joke saying it was the first time I saw Kim make a mistake this season.
Oh, was it not Højlund, right? Not Højlund. Was it Højlund?
No, it wasn't Højlund. It was anyway. That was the guy's almost flawless. I'm getting excited here thinking about it, man, because Italian teams doing good in Champions League helps us all out. It helps me out. It helps you guys out. It helps like the Serie A, the reputation, everything, man. We need a team to get to the final this season.
In my opinion,
the guy? Miley.
Oh, it was Mele. Yeah. It was because that would make sense, right? It was the Mele cutting inside. Yeah.
Listen, he also got beat by the Lecce strike. That wonderful goal. Who was the Italian kid? I can't remember his name either. The 1-1 they scored from outside the box.
Colombo.
Right? It was kind of Colombo. Oh my gosh, what a goal that was!
Milan youth.
Yeah, wonderful.
That was good. Who do we got midweek for Napoli?
Empoli tomorrow at 12:30.
Oh man, so Vicario, the guy I was telling you about.
Vicario, man. Listen, Empoli.
He might be the best keeper in the league.
Empoli could be a really tough match for us. It usually is. It usually is, man.
Yeah, we're not doing coverage on it. That's why we're doing
at
Wednesday
all this
coverage.
week. This mid.
No, we're only doing Wednesday, and then we're in Saturday and Sunday. I think the idea was. So let me just double check the times and everything because I've been completely just to myself today. So Wednesday we have Sassuolo Roma at 12:30, and then Inter Bologna at 2:45, and then tomorrow Napoli Empoli 12:30, Cremonese Milan 2:45. Good double headers, man.
Yeah, very good, very good.
We don't have these rents on time. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get thrown out of the house soon. Hey,
Let's
guys,
go.
thanks so much for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming in short notice.
You guys have a
surprising
nice
all
little
of us.
setup here. The production is like top quality.
That's
You
this
got the
guy.
comments streaming in.
That's this guy right here. That's Ralph Pizarro. I'm the mouth.
Bro,
and he's the,
come on, man. Marinara or margarita?
Yeah, I was
Come on,
shaving.
is
I
that
want to put hold on. Let me put this up. Quentin asked us. Final question, then you're out of here, Matteo. Cacio is cool and all, but we need the real answers. Matteo, what are you ordering? Marinara, margarita.
Bro, I live right now in northern Connecticut. I'm like 10 minutes from Mass, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. We only have one real Neapolitan pizzeria. The guy who owns it worked in Napoli. He went there on like an apprenticeship, so he knows what he's doing. He gets all the bufala cheese, the real Marzano tomatoes, everything. It's amazing. I drive an hour round trip to pick up a simple bufala margherita. Don't need anything else. Don't want any toppings. I just want the three ingredients. That's it. The duck. The duck. That's when you know it's legit.
That's when you know it, bro. Listen,
that's all you need. You don't need anything
that's
else.
all
I don't
you
need
need.
cheese crusts or any nonsense like that.
Cheese crust.
I had the first time I've been inside Ribalta and ate was on Saturday, and when
it's good, Ribalta.
When I ordered a margarita and he asked me Doc, I said Doc. I shivered, bro. I'm telling you, I shivered. I was like, okay, yes, Doc, let's go. Let's do it.
Patatina and Wursta. I could use some patatina right now. The only thing I have here are animal crackers from my son left on the thing.
How is your son doing? Serie B baby.
Serie B baby. He's 1.5. He broke his tibia 2 weeks ago, and now he's got a massive blister from the calf. So he's just going through the ring right now. But the kid's walking, man. These kids are insane. They walk it's a closed fracture, so he's just walking. He's a beast, man.
When they break their bones at that young of an age, it really they don't even remember it.
Yeah, I'm going through it now, man. Because when you got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, 2 boys that are animals, every day you're just trying to prevent them from killing themselves, like falling down the stairs, choking on some stupid thing that they put in their mouth. It just never ends. That's why you see my eyes like this. That looks like
for sure.
That I've been blazing up all day, but nah. Just
do me a favor and tell Kay I said thank you for reading my question out on ESPN FC, because that was
I heard about that.
That was a lot of fun, Matteo.
Dude, you're everywhere, man. Your stock is you're like crypto right now, man. You're on a rocket ship to the moon.
I am. It's fun too. It is a lot of fun. But I got a real kick out of that. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Matteo. I really appreciate you, man.
All right, we'll do this again much sooner than the year that's gone by or whatever it's been. Take care, and thanks for the questions. All right,
pleasure.
All right,
Chuck. There he was. Thank you, Matteo Bonetti, for stopping by.
We gave Matteo Bonetti the Neapolitan goodbye.
Yeah, hard body on that one. I think we were saying bye to him for like 25 minutes.
He was saying bye to us for 25 minutes. Yeah. But that was awesome, man. Thanks again.
Let's get a Forza Napoli going. In the chat, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Alpha. It was exciting. I mean,
that was dope.
I think the Calcio gods just didn't want us to talk. Didn't want me to talk about Moret, and that, you know what, and that's fine. At the end of the day, guys, whatever I said. But I appreciate Alex Moret. I'm glad he stayed. I'm glad he's doing well. I hope he does well for the remainder of the season and his career in Napoli. But
listen, all I'm going to say is it's okay to criticize your players, no matter where they come from, no matter what nationality they are, no matter how they play great one week and they don't the next. It's okay to criticize your players. Not everybody's going to have an awesome game every day, you know? And to Medet's To be fair to Meret against Liverpool, he was good. It's just those 2 shots were very difficult. But a keeper of high quality should be able to withstand. I mean, listen, not that there was anything on the line either. So it's really like I go here and then I go here. I go here and then I go here. At the end of the day, who cares? We won the group, right? But the question should be asked. You know what I mean? He redeemed himself again. Someone in here said it. It seems like when Meret has a howler or a bad match, he rebounds with a good match the next match. And that's good because that's an indication that the whole team is doing that. Right, Ralph? The whole team responds to a not-so-good match with a win. and that's big.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's just a small, even if it's considered nitpicking, which somebody said, and maybe it is. Maybe the nitpicking is a form of a compliment. You know, it's not like it's so bad that it's so obvious that you actually have to dig in and look at some of the nitty gritties to find out maybe what's wrong or what's maybe something he can improve on. So, but at the end of the day, nobody's here with pitchforks and torches ready to burn down this guy's house and
Dude,
communicate on Napoli. He was beat to the match for Sassuolo. A decision
and a consideration today, right?
A consideration today, and if it wasn't for what Ozzy did, because what Ozzy did was absolutely beastly, Moret probably would have won. So there's no hate here. Maybe being critical, yes, but there's no hate. I don't think he was responsible for anything in that Champions League game. I'm just making sure he's the guy, and so far so good. But let's see how the rest of the season fares out. All right, but Rafa, great show. Big thank you to everybody in the chat. Again, be sure to please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to subscribe, guys. We need you to grow, and everybody's doing a fantastic job. So thank you again, Rafa. Forza Napoli sempre, man.
Forza Napoli sempre. Don't forget, tomorrow, Napoli-Empoli. Get in 12:30 Eastern.
Oh, word. I'll probably be the watch party in the Discord, yeah.
If you're near the city and you need a place to watch the match, go to Ribalta. They open at 12 every day, and they have every match on. Right? Go do it. Go do it.
Yes, so then, guys, Forza Napoli sempre.
Ciao, ciao.
Until next time. Ciao, ciao, ciao.